Hey, this is Anthony, RevZilla. Watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new X-Lite X-1004 N-Com modular helmet, available at RevZilla.com. Yes, that was a lot. Let me break it down for you. This is the X-Lite X-1004 N-Com. I'm going to start with the easy part, the N-Com. That means it's pre-integrated for the Nolan N-Com communicator system that you can buy separately. If you don't want it to be a third party or aftermarket, you can go that route. But really, when we think about X-Lite X-1004, X-Lite is the big brother coming out of the Italian Nolan factories. In Bergamo, Italy, they're making these helmets. And again, when we think about that, if we think about Nolan, they make a premium modular. X-Lite takes it to the next level, and they primarily do that by using composite materials. And the fit and the finish of these helmets gets a bit nicer. So, the X-Lite X-1004 is the flagship flip face helmet from X-Lite, and again, where I immediately gravitate towards, it's going to be fit finish, composite materials, and it has a sportier, aggressive look. Now, if I looked at it right out of the box, if you just want the quick eval of this helmet, we think it vents great, we think it looks really sporty, and like I said, the fit and finish, you're paying over the $500 mark, but it's going to be able to hang with something like a Shoei Neotech, or something like an HJC Arfa Max. Again, it has that premium feel and quality to it. All of the components come together nicely. It's just solid, from the chin bar mechanism to the drop-down sun visor. Now, if I was going to quickly ding it before I get into the full detailed breakdown on this helmet, I'm going to quickly ding it in two areas. The first area is going to be the shield on this helmet, which I don't think has a positive enough lock at the bottom. It has this lock along the side, which I can just do that, but it comes up quickly and easily. The other thing, we'd like to see them come in a little bit closer to that 312, 310 mark, get a hair lighter. At 315, getting close to that 4-pound range, I think it's a quality helmet. It's definitely a high-end helmet, but again, closer to 4 pounds, you're gonna feel that on a longer distance ride. Now, we might as well get quickly into our fitment here. When we look at it, it's gonna be an intermediate oval head shape, which we really dig, which means it's going to fit most of the American market. A few shell sizes here, but again, think about the shape around the crown of your head, a little bit longer front to back, not overly round, not overly narrow. What we see in the US is a lot of manufacturers going to this intermediate oval head shape in the last few years because it fits most riders. And those of you that are the outliers at the round or super narrow level, you're going to know there are specific helmets that really have that fit that's going to tie in specifically for you. This is not one of them. This is going to fit most of the US. I have an intermediate oval head shape. Now, quickly thinking about it, thinking about the sizing, use a size chart, no surprises there. We're going to ship free over 39 bucks. And I'd love it if you click our logo, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel, leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback on the X-Lite X-1004 N-Com. Now, let's work from the outside in and work our way to the guts of this helmet, break it down all the way. Let's start with our exterior shell. Remember, this is composite. This is going to be exotic materials, composites, resins, again, taking that big leap up from something like a bag molded polycarb. And that's where you don't have that creaking. It's just a more solid helmet. Now, because it is a modular, it's just going to carry a DOT rating. And what we've been told by X-Lite, they've actually tested it with the chin bar up and they've tested it with the chin bar down. So it covers the DOT standard even in the open face riding position. Now, I will tell you that unless it's in touring mode or slow speed mode, sometimes off-roading, sometimes when they're smoking a cigarette, you do have a set that rides with the chin bars up, but the helmet's not really designed to be ridden with the chin bar up. Again, that's just going to be a big sail on top of the head. If you want to wear a helmet that you can flip the chin bar up and almost convert it, look at something like the Shark Evoline. But the helmet itself, when we get into this higher end range, it means that it's going to be alloy material and connection points, so you get a solid lock. Cheaper helmets are going to use plastic materials when they come down and they lock in. The other nice part about this locking mechanism here is it uses the same mechanism as the Nolans, which you pop it up with your finger. It's a positive place to grab, and ultimately you squeeze. So there's no accidental opening of the chin bar there, which is really nice. Now, if we start down here at the bottom and work our way up, we've talked about the chin bar actuation. You do have a 1-position vent, or actually 2-position open and closed, and that is going to vent to the face shield. It does come with Pinlock in the box, which is a nice touch. Again, you're getting that lens, which allows you to have that great fog-free element that allows you to tie in that separate lens, which creates that double-paned window. So again, it's not going to fog on you. You do get the Pinlock stock in the box, which is nice. You're not having to buy it separately. Now, I'm going to open this up. One of the things that I absolutely loved about this helmet is the drop-down sun visor mechanism. So again, you never have to really worry about adding the dark smoke shield because you can just flip up here with your left hand behind your ear and pop it down. You know, we see some manufacturers that do a spring-loaded mechanism, some manufacturers do a cable mechanism. We see some manufacturers that are actually a tad loud. I like that it has a nice soft stop to it, but it comes down far enough. So you're gonna get good coverage. You're not gonna have this too close to the bridge of your nose. So again, you're not gonna be worrying about, depending on how your face is shaped, seeing and cutting your vision with the bottom of this lens. You get enough coverage. Now, if we get into the face shield itself, this is where we start to have a few issues. The seal is good. As long as you keep it lubricated and they give you lube in the box, you're gonna be able to keep that riding forever. Again, keeping it soft so that it doesn't wear out on you. But when we turn this to the side and you look at it, there's no spring-loaded actuation. So when it comes down, it's not sucking it in like some of the newer higher-end helmets are. The other thing to know about it is that I talked about that locking mechanism where I do that, it locks it, but not really. This really can pop up. It's not so loose it's gonna pop up on you from the wind noise, but what it isn't gonna do is really create that great positive snap at the bottom. And I like to see that, especially when I'm investing more in a helmet. Now, we didn't talk about it, but these are really simple to remove. You pop the face shield up, you push the button right there, the whole mechanism pops off. I'm not gonna do it because we have a drop-down sun visor, and for the most part, it's pretty easy. I'm not gonna fumble through it, but in many cases, you're not gonna need to do it because you have that drop-down sun visor. Working our way into the top of the helmet, you do have this single vent up here on top of the helmet. And what's cool about this vent is you'd expect that to be a single 10mm vent hole, or maybe a double, but it's actually a tri-vent on top. You have almost a 20mm hole, and then you have that flanked by two 10mm. So when we pull out the guts here on the X-Lite X-1004, you're gonna see that's a massive channel of air through the mohawk of the helmet that's going to circulate great air in, that's gonna passively vent out towards the bottom and out towards the back. So again, it was nice to see them upgrade that helmet. Now I will say this, typically when you have that big of a vent on a top vent for a helmet, you are going to increase the little bit of wind noise from a helmet. So again, know that this won't be the most quiet helmet because you have such great airflow in, but that is a bit of the trade-off. And there are a lot of folks, especially in the touring realm, that are going to ride with earplugs anyway. Now, quick side profile of the helmet, you're going to see some of the lines here. It is a bit sportier. I consider this a sport touring helmet. Does it mean that you can't wear it in three-quarter riding position? Absolutely not. In many cases, we're gonna see guys or gals wearing this in more of an upright riding position, but the nice part about it is this helmet, outside of something like the Alpha Max from HJC, really do carry those really sporty lines, where a lot of other helmets in this category have a more conservative look for them. Even the way this baby rear wing is integrated really carries that style and pulls it together. Now, two passive vents along the backside here, which again, you have fast-moving air over a sphere, creates a vacuum. It's called the Venturi Effect. Behind the helmet, that's going to pull or extract warm, moist air out of the helmet by creating a low-pressure zone back here. And notice this little strip at the top here. That's going to be reflective. That's actually the second area of reflective on this helmet. So you have this little reflective patch, so they're being more forward-thinking about the safety aspect, knowing that most times folks that want to invest in the flexibility of a flip-face helmet or a modular helmet, they're putting a lot of miles down. They're doing that because they're used to keeping their helmet off, stopping, asking for directions, going into the 7-Eleven, what have you, lighting up a cigar like Hannibal from the A-Team. Whatever they're going to do while they're riding, it means they're spending more time on the seat with their butt in the seat for more miles. Now, if I grab this helmet and I flip it on its side, actually I'm going to do one more thing before I put it down. I'm going to show you this spot right here is where your N-Com integrates. You pull that little grommet out, the N-Com sits in the back, it sticks to the helmet, and the controls integrate through there. Now, if I pull it to the bottom, there's a lot going on here. I'm going to show you here what it looks like, what this mechanism looks like to open it from the bottom to the top. So it's a squeeze, you open it up, and what you're going to notice here is you notice that red material. That's actually Coolmax. Coolmax is a material made by a third party. You see Arai using it, you see other premium manufacturers using it. Coolmax is antimicrobial, it's wicking, but it also has a cooling effect to your skin. So again, premium upgrade on the interior guts of this helmet. But then when we look at it, there's also one more thing which is actually unique to Nolan. You're going to see it's the two-stage single-handed safety catch. Now, they're using this European-style micrometric ratchet system here. Again, but the way to do this is so you can do it with a gloved hand, very simply, but you'll notice that with other helmets that have a safety catch like this, if you had it set up, if you went like that, it might actually open or spring the catch. For Nolan, you actually pull the tab up, it's easy to find with a glove, and you pull it that way. So again, you're not going to accidentally open this. And you'll notice too, it's a micro suede material offsetting that Coolmax, so you're not going to feel any of these big heavy-duty materials or these big ratchet systems against your skin. Everything is fully covered. The other thing about this helmet that makes it simple, it goes together, is notice this zipper at the bottom. This is how our neck roll comes off. So we have that zipper pulling everything apart. I believe there's some snaps here along the side. If I pull it out, it's actually a hook. See here, I don't want to break it. But you also see these get a little complicated. In previous versions, we used to see this not being a stretch material. Now it's a stretch material, which makes it easier to get it up and over your micrometric ratchet. On this side, I don't want to break it. I'm going to pull this guy out of there just so like that. Probably a snap. It's actually, there we go. It's a ring. So it's a ring on both sides. Simple to find if you're looking for it. Hopefully you're not going to have to do this too often, and this sits behind your cheek pad. So I can pull that off. There's my neck roll there. Notice there is another pop of reflectivity that's going to be baked into it. That is reflectivity number one, especially if you're in that 3/4 position. You're going to see that riding at night. Another motorist or another motorcyclist is going to see that. Notice you have a lot of micro suede around the neck roll. You have a nice tight seal, which is going to hopefully cut down on wind noise. And it is going to be leather. That's going to actually give you a little bit of a, it's a premium feel, has that red stitching, but if you sit it down on top of your seat, less chance of sliding off. Now, if we look at the cheek pads here, they are snaps. There are no surprises there. I'm going to pop these guys off. Notice they slide through. It is a single block construction, which is a nice contour at the face. I will say this as well. Thinking about intermediate oval and thinking about, for those of you that have never ridden in a modular helmet before, if we think about how that fits, it typically comes in around the cheeks. It's intermediate oval at the crown, but the cheeks on a modular, to give you the clearance to go up and down, typically tend to be a little bit loose. They're not as tight as you'd feel from a more traditional full face helmet. The other thing that's really nice about this helmet is that you have a different density material up around the temples, and that's going to allow you to very easily and quickly add sunglasses or eyeglasses on and off. If you have eyeglasses and you want one helmet to ride in, you can drop the sun visor down, you have the flexibility of the face shield, flexibility of the chin bar. Again, you can really ride in any position you want, and you're not going to get that pressure point along your ears, along your temple, because they gave you a different density of foam. Another manufacturer that does that really well is Shark. Now, if we start to get into the helmet, you're going to see right where my finger is here, you're going to see that that is a disc made of dense foam that is removable. That is a speaker pocket. So whether you're adding the N-Com or you want to add another manufacturer's third-party unit like a Cardo or a Cena, you can do that. And then when I snap the rest of the comfort liner out, you're going to notice one of the things they do quite well. They snap at positive plastic points at the front of the brow, again, to make sure you don't get pressure points, and then these snaps beyond the occipital ridge or that ridge in the back of your head, you never ever feel these. Notice 3D mesh, Coolmax is the red, it's antimicrobial, it's wicking, again, very easy to clean, it should hold up for a very long time for you, and again, it's done in a 3D mapped construction, so you don't really feel the seams, but it's differently dense and differently supportive in different areas. Other thing to consider here, and I talked about it when I talked about that top vent, which we absolutely dug, is look at the massive ventilation channels. Again, they're huge, they're very deep, they tie into those big vents on top of the helmet where you saw there was a multitude, one of which being bigger than we even expected. They run down all the way to the back of the helmet and then down the back side of the head. Again, bringing that air in, allowing it to circulate, allowing it to evaporate sweat from your head and pull that warm, moist air outside at the back of the helmet. So ultimately, you are investing north of the $500 mark for solids, for graphics. It's no joke. You're in a category that has the Shoei Neotech, that has the HJC Arfa Max. You start to play up a little bit. You start to see that Schubert helmet make its way into the mix, whether it's the C3 Pro or even the C4 that we're going to see later this spring. But ultimately, we can't really knock the X-Lite X1004 too far, other than we think they could make some improvements along the shield, and ultimately for the next iteration, we love to see them get it a little bit lighter when you are thinking about that $500 north neighborhood. But it is well executed, it vents well, it has a bit of a sporty look, and an intermediate oval head shape should fit for most of the American market. Now, the next step in your journey is to click the info button, your desktop, your mobile device. Visit the product detail page at RevZilla.com, read other reviews. You shouldn't just take my word for it. As always, we'll ship for free over 39 bucks. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with our opinion and the latest and greatest in the moto universe. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.